everybody starts that business. Now it's no more. The growth rate is almost 7 to 8% maximum, and that too in particular zones only. Otherwise, it's mostly negative. Mutual fund stock giving high returns earlier, 20%, 25%, but last 1 year, I think mostly negative. Even I have heard that many times people have lost their principal amount as well. And this I'm talking about from the main people who actually do it. So no, I don't see that good times for mutual funds anymore in the future. That's what my guess is. You might have different view. You are free to have your own view. PF, Provident Fund, NPS gratuity, particularly for staff and executives and senior people who used to park their fund in National Pension Fund, Provident Fund, and gratuities. I don't think that is a very good return, 8%. But the kind of scheme that we have, you will see that almost your whole investment becomes free in a period of 8 years. Other than your operational gain and loss, whatever you do, your investment comes back. That's what my belief is. You will also agree to it after the presentation. Job creation opportunity. You will be a job creator. Modi has spoken on several radio channels what it means to be a job creator. So you can understand that you can be one of them. Ready platform for coming generations. So basically, your family, your kids, your grandkids, you are giving them a sustainable business, because anybody knows that to set up a business is the most challenging, but to sustain it over it is comparatively easier. So if you do the hard job today, where you have the best skills, probably you are solving one issue for the future generation. Greater autonomy for working, basically a lot of flexibility now. And on your own self, from the government side, you also become a lot more flexible, your family time, everything, you have more autonomy, you can make a decision. And self-satisfaction, what our Delia already pointed out, it gives you a lot of satisfaction to be a job creator. You can feel good. Sometimes when you make a difference into the lives of so many people, you feel happy about it, that yes, okay, you have achieved something. Now coming to the common schemes. This is where my text part got over, where I don't think it was too exciting, but now comes the schemes for which we are here. This is where I'm going to talk about the important point where everybody should note. Let me also tell you, this presentation will be shared right away. Immediately after the presentation, it's going to be uploaded on the website within a day or two. So you can immediately download it. So focus on the content now. Don't worry, this presentation, the whole objective is to share it with you and make you an industry owner or entrepreneur. So it's not that it's being only going to be kept with me only, it's going to be shared. So don't worry about it. So package scheme of incentive is the most important benefit that is common across all sectors. What it speaks is it helps you recover 60 to 100% of the investment within 10 years in the form of various incentives. Suppose I invest in a business, say 5 crores. So government says through package scheme of incentive, they will be giving you various benefits, like they will be refunding you the state GST which you pay to the state government when you make a sale within the state. They pay you back 100% as per the new policy. So suppose if there is an item which is selling 80 rupees, there is GST of say 18%. So SGST would be 9%. So 80 rupees 9% is almost how much? 7.2. So you get that paid back over a period of 10 years. If you are a MSME, and 7 years if you are a large scale. And even if you are a mega, it can be 12 years, it can be 17. Yeah.
Large scale में gross नहीं.
अभी gross नहीं है. Okay. I think gross कर दिया था क्या? नहीं. Large scale में gross नहीं है. It still remains to be this thing. But for the good part is MSME definition. I'm going to come that. Second benefit, one is sales tax clear. How do you get the refund? Through a sales tax. Whatever you sell, you get that back. The state portion. Second is interest subsidy on term loan. Whatever loan you take from the government, you get 5% interest subsidy. If you are particularly in that category of MSME or LSI, you get this benefit. Power tariff subsidy of 1 or 2 rupees per unit. Goenka will clarify, I am not very sure, and even some expert, whether this power policy reduction is over and above the Vidarbha subsidy, or is it included? Kishore, if you can highlight, or Goenka, if you can highlight.
Under package scheme of incentive, it is separate.
Separate. So it's over and above. So other than the Vidarbha subsidy which you are getting, you have about 1 to 2 rupees additional subsidy in the form of power tariff. Then there's a waiver of stamp duty on your purchases of land, lease, mortgage. So wherever you are supposed to pay the stamp duty, it gets waived off. Earlier this was only for the first transaction. Now it has been made recurring. So now across the lifespan of your project,
Investment period.
across the investment period, you are getting reimbursement of your stamp duty that you pay. Earlier, I remember we used to pay only on the first transaction. We used to find out which is going to be the highest stamp duty liable transaction. Only that we used to get waiver. But now it's across the chain. So the stamp duty waiver is has been made very easy. It has been done recently, about 7-8 months back. So this is a very big benefit. Thanks to government for doing that. Exemption from electricity duty. Vidarbha is exempted till 2019. I'm very hopeful of getting it further extended, because last 15 years they have been exempted. I've already had minister here some days back. We have pursued it with him. He has given a smile saying that here it is being looked at. So I'm assuming that was a positive smile and it can be taken that it will be extended. And many other benefits for MSME. I'm going to clarify this and as the presentation goes on. The moot point and a very beautiful point. I don't know whether it gets implemented or not, but the good thing is the MSME definition. MSME earlier used to be on capital base. How much capital gross capital you invest in a business? 10 crores of the cap for it being called as a micro and medium. For micro and medium. So there the maximum benefits were there. Now the government of India has made it 250 crores and they have made it on the basis of turnover. Earlier it was on gross capital in this thing, now they have made it on turnover. So I'm sure the domestic scheme will also, the package scheme, yeah.
It is under consideration.
Exactly.
It is under consideration.
May not be applicable for package.
Exactly, will not be applicable.
It is a state scheme, no? So, जेब देख के सो जाएगा.
Exactly. So new policy is in the offing. It might happen anytime, but I believe they will also be little more lenient in terms of extending it, and I'm sure they will also change the criteria from investment to turnover. I'm very confident about it. They should do it because they have to align with the center. So the criteria can be different, but there will be incentives coming in that category. But it's proposal. No concrete on that. So I mentioned proposal. So this is one biggest, very very handsome scheme. Only through this scheme, there are certain sectors like automobile and many more which I don't want to name them, but you get almost paid back to 40 to 50% of your investment. 40 to 50%. I'm not saying more. Some will be more, but I'm saying 40 to 50. I know several companies in automobile who have got their 100% refunded. The investment got refunded. But I will not go into a generalized one-to-one thing. In textiles, we get refunded almost 25-30%. Because the tax component is so small. We are into 5% bracket, so very small. Only 2.5% comes back to us. But there are certain sectors like automobile, which is 28% bracket or say 18% thing, lot of refunds. So depends on what sector you are in. You have to take your own calculation. I'm not going sector-wise. I'm trying to give as much as possible, but I couldn't go to the extent where I can give you individual sector-wise. So that effort you will have to do yourself. But make sure that you actually calculate before you actually go ahead. Second is very very important, women entrepreneurs. I'm happy to have some women here, almost 4 or 5. One of them is my wife, who has just started or just joined business. So basically, there's a special policy for women entrepreneurs, and the policy says that eligibility when MSME unit. This is important. Eligibility is when MSME unit having 100% women ownership. The ownership has to be 100% women. It can't be like 1 or 2 somebody goes outside. And second, 50% women employment. This is eligibility. Once you are this, then I think there are some more small points which you will be, I'm sure you will take care. But this is the basic one. But there are several good benefits of being a woman entrepreneur. So please, women, everybody, please take note of it. Capital subsidy on your fixed capital investment at 25 lakhs to 1 crore. Maximum up to 50% of fixed capital investment, means maximum you are going to get 50% of your investment, capped at 1 crore. So if you invest 2 crores, you are eligible to get 1 crore. But this will include all the other benefits. Suppose if you have got it, right sir?
The condition is that total subsidy component taken from all the sources should be not more than 50%.
Right. So all the other schemes.
Suppose
so combine everything.
Textile unit and you are getting subsidy on, under that scheme and this also. So to the extent of 50% of your fixed capital.
Right. Then there is a power tariff subsidy at 2 rupees per unit. Suppose if you don't become eligible, you come into LSI and you are not getting that benefit. I'm sure this must be also be dovetailed with other policies, right? So if you are not getting benefit somewhere else, here you are getting it. If you are getting it somewhere else, then this doesn't count. Then interest subsidy again at the rate of 5% maximum up to twice the value of an electricity bill paid. So they've capped it to the extent of electricity bill. So suppose you have a very small business where there is no electricity bill and you say I want interest subsidy, they will not give you. So you should have something electricity being consumed and maximum of that twice. To that extent interest subsidy they will be giving. This is very very important, very good. One level higher tax slab for IPS refund. There are certain categories where you get only 80%. I know an example, say garmenting. Garmenting, if you are getting an investment of 10 crores, he was about to get 8 crores back. But now, because he has made it in the name of his wife, and his wife is going to also be involved in the business, it gives one slab higher, so it makes it 90%. So basically 10%. So 1 crore he is about to get extra over a period of 10 years. So that's the extra advantage of having a woman being at the helm of the affairs. So one higher level for the tax slab under PSI. subsidy up to 50% cost of developing trademark limited to 1 crore. So if you go about getting a new product made, getting it trademarked and all that, you get 50% reimbursement up to 1 crore. Then trade exhibition participation. Like suppose you have an exhibition. My friend keeps traveling to US. So in that way, many times when you go for an exhibition, you are almost getting compensated up to 3 lakh for an international exhibition and 50,000 for a domestic exhibition. Very, very big advantage. Because unless you exhibit, unless you showcase your product in various exhibitions, you will not be able to market it. It's not easy. Online marketing is one thing, but we have to go and showcase our product. So this is a very big advantage for women where they have given subsidy for exhibitions particularly. So big marketing support. Third scheme, Startup India. Very interesting scheme. Very, I don't know how many of you are using. Very interesting scheme. Eligibility is working towards innovative products or potential for high employment generation. 2 criteria. First criteria, innovative product. Product has to be innovative. Now it will be certified by certain agencies which have been given by a designated list of agencies which will define whether it's an innovative product or not. And second being potential for high employment generation. Whether that particular business of yours does it actually employ a lot of workforce or not. If it does, you are a startup. And I have seen one of my friends who put up garments has been classified as startup. So what benefit does it bring in? It says self-certification under 9 environmental and labor laws. Self-certification. So no inspector Raj coming for those 9 laws. You will go to the details. They are very helpful. You will not have other various small issues happening due to environment and due to labor. 9 self-certification. IPR support. Suppose you go about patenting anything, government to bear the facilitation cost and 50% rebate on trademark. Same thing that we spoke about women. There is a 10,000 crore special fund, which is basically coming from SIDBI and many other banks who actually fund your investment for startups through alternate investment fund. Very difficult. It's there as part of scheme, but let me say it's very difficult. If you're lucky, you can do it. It's not impossible. But पूरे पापड़ बेलने पड़ेंगे, अपनी मेहनत पूरी करनी पड़ेगी. मिलता है, मिल सकता है. Point है, मिल सकता है. अब अपने को क्या मिलता है वो अपने को देखते हैं. Startup patent application I have already spoken about. इसमें 80% है fast track करने के. You are fast track also is there. There are 2 types of patent. One is fast track patent, one is regular patent. So fast track patent has a higher cost. So in fast track patent you are getting 80% cost reimbursed. And then there is a public procurement norms. Basically this is very, very important. Lot of tenders, because now the whole spending is happening on the government side. Government is doing the bulk of the spending, not from the private agencies. So there are a lot of procurement which happens in defense, in roads, in hospitals and schools and everything. So everything, there used to be criteria. What is the prior experience? What is the prior experience? The criteria used to be 3 साल का experience है क्या आपके पास, तो ही आप eligible बनते हो tender में participate करने को. But if you are a startup, the prior experience is there is a relaxation. You don't have to have that certificate. And more importantly, earnest money deposit. A lot of times we don't participate because the earnest money deposit becomes a very big interest. और इसकी EMD इसकी है, मैं कहाँ से लाऊंगा ये पैसा? EMD बहुत है. Because EMD is also quite significant. वो बाद में मिलती नहीं मिलती उसको 4-6 महीने लग जाते. तो वो सब झंझट में जाने बदले यदि आप स्टार्टअप हो तो आपको EMD नहीं लग रही और आपको प्रायर एक्सपीरियंस की जरूरत नहीं है. You can participate in government tenders for procurement. और उसमें भी गवर्नमेंट को कंपल्शन है कि 30% उनको MSME से लेना है. स्टार्टअप से भी लेने का कुछ आएगा. नॉट वेरी श्योर है तो है क्या किशोर? इट इज देयर. ओके, तो स्टार्टअप से भी लेने का कुछ है कंपल्शन एंड इससे भी है. बेसिकली किशोर इज द वन हु असिस्टेड मी ड्यूरिंग मेकिंग ऑफ दिस प्रेजेंटेशन, सो आई माइट रेफर हिम मेनी टाइम्स. एंड टैक्स एग्जम्पशन, इनकम टैक्स एग्जम्पशन फॉर अ पीरियड ऑफ 3 consecutive years. वेरी वेरी बिग एग्जम्पशन. बिल्कुल रेयर है, कोई चीज में एग्जम्पशन नहीं मिल रहे हैं, स्टार्टअप इंडिया को मिला है. इट्स लकी थिंग. वेरी वेरी गुड. एंड दिस गुड पार्ट इज 7 साल में कोई भी 3 साल मिलेगा. आज गवर्नमेंट को मिला है, मुझको लगता है मैं 3 साल तो मेरे एफिशिएंसी लाने में चले जाएंगे, मेरे प्रॉफिट आने वाला नहीं है. मेरे को बाद के लास्ट के 3 साल चाहिए 7 में से, उसको वो 3 साल मिलेगा. तो whenever you can actually extract highest profit, you can get those 3 years exemption there. But only if you are getting, there are 2 types of startups. You can be a startup, but you can get a startup without getting income exemption, income tax exemption. So not every startup will have income tax exemption. Some startups will be there without income tax exemption. They will get all the other benefits, but not the income tax exemption. Income tax exemption के लिए there is a particular body है, क्या procedure है?
International board से.
हाँ बोलो ना, बैठ के बोलो.
Actually, international board takes the meeting and they do assess the project, and on the basis of assessment they grant a tax exemption certificate.
Right. So there is an interministerial board which sits and it decides whether your product or your project seems to whether it deserves to get a this thing or not. What? Particularly income tax exemption. Because बहुत रोक के गवर्नमेंट देती है, वो उनका मेजर एरिया ऑफ प्रॉफिट है. They don't want to give exemption because एक बार एक को दिया तो दूसरे खड़े हो जाएंगे. They don't want to do it, इसलिए बहुत selectively दे रहे हैं. Not very easy, but if you get it, it's quite paying. So that's the provision to get it. There is a fourth scheme, credit linked capital subsidy scheme. This is which everybody, most of you must have used it. This is the most common and I think available across the sector. The scheme says applicable to all MSMEs on term loan taken up to 1 crore on eligible plant and machinery. Important point is eligible plant and machinery. Eligibility होनी चाहिए उस plant and machinery. कुछ भी ले लिया तो नहीं मिल जाएगा. तो eligible list में भी है. तो उस पर 1 करोड़ की यदि आपका लोन टर्म लोन अप टू 1 करोड़ है तो 15% कैपिटल सब्सिडी कैप्ड एट 15 लाख ये मिलता है सभी को. At present the scheme is under revision and will be launched soon after obtaining the necessary approval. धर्माधिकारी सर will throw more light. सर क्या हो सकता है स्कीम का या क्या होगा?
It will continue.
Will continue. At the moment it's on hold. Right.
It's open for reserve category right now.
Open only for reserve category. Okay. So it's only open for reserve category, but जब भी चालू होगी आप समझ लो आपके 1 करोड़ के बिजनेस करके 15% कैपिटल सब्सिडी एलिजिबल प्लांट एंड मशीनरी पे आपको मिलेगी.
इसमें टेक्नोलॉजी का रिवीजन होगा, एलिजिबिलिटी में टेक्नोलॉजी का रिवीजन होगा विद चेंजिंग टाइम्स एंड अकॉर्डिंगली दैट विल बी लॉन्च्ड.
Right. So now coming to sector scheme. तो 3 मैंने 4 scheme मेजर बताई. They cover across the sector. चाहे टेक्सटाइल हो, सीमेंट हो, प्लास्टिक हो, टॉय मैन्युफैक्चरिंग हो, कोई भी बिजनेस हो आपका. बट इंडस्ट्री यदि है तो चारों स्कीम आपके लिए एलिजिबल होती है. बिकॉज मतलब डीलिंग टू सेक्टर. Now I'm talking about sector specific. Now this is where sector related scheme will come. आपके इंटरेस्ट का है तो आपको ज्यादा याद करने की जरूरत है. Otherwise you can be little more relaxed because ultimately this is very technical. I would not like to go into too much detail, but I would like to understand how many are there from textiles. Please raise your hand. Textiles. There are 4-5 only, not too many. But anyway, mostly all of them are aware about textile. Textile थोड़ा highlight करना चाहूँगा because एक तो मेरा textile part है, मेरा interest है उसमें कि लोग उसमें investment करें. And second, I believe it's one of the most attractive policies. आज यदि कोई देखा जाए तो one of the most attractive of all the policies. I think textile को जितने benefit हैं उतने दूसरे और कोई सेक्टर को नहीं आया. मैं टेक्सटाइल एंटरप्रेन्योर आई एम सेइंग धर्माधिकारी साहब के सामने ही बोल रहा हूँ. Really attractive policy. Why I will tell you explain why. So there are 3 sub-textile policies which actually exist. One is the state textile policy applicable for ginning, spinning, weaving, knitting, processing, technical textile and garmenting. That is the state textile policy just announced on 16th of February 2018, applicable till 2023. A lot of modalities are yet to come, lot of confusion remains, but I am hoping that everything will be clarified in time to come and everybody will be able to enjoy the benefit of that scheme. I will come to the details of the scheme in the next slide. Centrally sponsored 8-term scheme. This is in operation for last 1 year and here applicable to all sectors starting from weaving, knitting. Here no ginning, no spinning. It starts from weaving, knitting, processing, technical textile and garments. And here the benefit also I will speak about in the next slide. And the next being available only for power looms, the power tech scheme. There are many.
No, it is RR term.
No, 8 is a RR term इसके पहले का. So applicable only for power looms is a power tech scheme. So it's only for power looms. So that's what I'm mentioning. Very specific. I didn't highlight too much, but it's very attractive as a power loom. If anybody would like to go into power loom section, mostly the minority community has a lot of interest. A lot of people also can show interest because now with the plastic bag coming in, the fabric which goes into making of a bag is generally made on a power loom. So you can have that scheme advantage. So coming to the detail nuance of the textile scheme, I'll go into little detail just to throw more light how attractive the scheme is. In processing, technical textile, knitting and garmenting, if I make an investment of 100 crores on plant and machinery, this is when I say investment, it is plant and machinery investment. So you are getting 40% capital subsidy. Okay. So 100 crores investment, or say 10 crores, let me say. You get 40% refunded. In how much period I'll come to that, but you get 40% refunded as a capital subsidy. For composite unit, which is basically spinning and weaving, or spinning, knitting, any 2 units together, it's 35. For ginning and spinning, it is only 25. When you are doing a spinning, you only get 25%. For weaving, it remains to be again 25. For non-traditional fiber, which uses bamboo, grass, coconut, silk or wool, hemp or all these fibers, you get 10% additional. There is not too much of market, so government is saying if you make such products, you will get 10% additional. SC, ST minority community, if they come into the project, they get 5% more. So if I put a knitting project, if somebody says, Fairby comes and say, puts a knitting project in mind, he might be eligible to get 5 more. In like, if he is eligible in that. So 40 plus 5, he gets 45% as a capital subsidy. For minorities also. Like, and processing, technical textile, knitting, this is very important. This is where the attraction comes. in Vidarbha, Marathwada, North Maharashtra, if any processing, technical textile, knitting or garmenting project comes in, you get 20% additional. So what happens? You get 40 there, and if you have a unit in Vidarbha, Marathwada or North Maharashtra, you get 20 more. So that makes it 40 plus 20, 60% capital subsidy. Okay, we are only talking about capital subsidy. And if you are in other areas of Maharashtra, you get only 10 instead of 20. And if you are doing a backward or forward integration, as I said, integration benefit under GST. So if somebody is already into textile and he wants to do a backward or forward integration, so whatever be the sectoral benefit, along with that, you will get 5% additional. This is the basic scheme. Now, this is over and above the central scheme. Now, and the beauty of this scheme is that capital subsidy will be disbursed in 3 tranches. Basically, the first subsidy will come after 12 months itself. With 30% of the subsidy, suppose you are going to get 10 crores investment, you become eligible for a knitting project, you have put knitting project, so you become eligible for 40 plus 20, 60%. So out of 6 crores, 30% will come after 1 year. This is a big help. Otherwise, this used to be over across 7 years. Earlier scheme, it was 7 years. Now they have made it within 3 years. The first tranche after first year, 12 months. The second after second 30% after second year, and third immediately after the third this thing, you get completely subsidy, all subsidy paid back after the third year itself. This is a big boost because what happens is in the initial year the capital is needed, right? When do we need capital whenever we set up a plant? Do we need it at the later stage or the initial stage when we are fighting with all other issues and scaling up and everything? So that's when we need it. That's what government agrees. Again, as I told you that the government listens to us, this is one prime example where it happened. I remember I went to Textile Minister's call for reviewing of the policies under draft stage, representing VI and my own company. I gave him the input that this should be done in a short time, because otherwise, by the time you give subsidy, either the unit is closed down or it's declared NPA. So your benefit will not come ultimately go down. So he said, okay, we'll do it, and they did it. The point is more clarification needed, but they did it. So within 3 years, they actually are paying you almost all the subsidy of the capital subsidy. And as I told you, I mean, I'm talking about only state. I will come to central little later, but within state, what they're giving you is 2 rupees subsidy and additionally for textile. So if I have say 5 rupees my power cost, you get 2 rupees less. So basically 3 rupees. I have some ginning friends here. So like he's operating, is getting a power cost of almost 6 rupees. So a 2 rupees subsidy if it comes in, probably he will be beneficial and he will get 2 rupees less. So it will be 4 rupees for him. No cross subsidy.
2 rupees.
Clarity is needed.
There is no clarity.
There is no clarity. That I told in immediate policy आ गया है, लेकिन clarity नहीं आई. We are hoping it will come. जब भी आएगा तब benefit मिलेगा.
4 रुपए का not below 4.
Not below 4 for that policy. वो Vidarbha policy.
Add-on.
Yeah, add-on. No cross subsidy surcharge for open access for power, some other sources. This is very big benefit for big industries like me. I got the advantage of open access, but there was a heavy cross subsidy. I remember I used to pay cross subsidy to the extent of 29 paisa, then went up to 76 paisa, went up to 1.29, it went up to 1.68. I don't know what it is today because I'm not using it. But today the cross subsidy charge is around more than 3 rupees. So cross subsidy, which was supposed to come down as per the policy, has been going up and up. The good part is textiles is they have been exempted as per the policy. Let's see what happens when the clarity comes. Anyway, and most beautiful policy, everybody is, I don't know who are in textile will know that power for power loom comes at 2.8. Only 2 rupees